You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm excited to bring you today's topic on intermittent fasting. I told you over the past couple of weeks that every week or every other week, I was going to bring you more details about intermittent fasting. And that's because I believe there's probably nothing more important that you can do in your life right now in terms of improving your energy, improving your brain, your memory, your focus, improving your blood sugar levels. And remember, when you improve your blood sugar levels, you age slower. That means there are less ages literally in your body. So these are advanced glycation end products. You are not oxidizing fats. You're not oxidizing proteins. There are no sugars, not as much sugar there to attach to some of these proteins as well. That's going to give you benefits in your hair, your skin, your nails. Also, and again, definitely check this podcast out. It was just about 2 weeks ago. Let me see if I can pull up the actual show right now. But this was on how to improve your immune system within just 72 hours. That was episode 557. So if you go to stephencabral.com/557, or if you want to just check out today's, which is stephencabral.com/571, I'll link up everything in today's show notes as always. But if we can improve energy, we can improve brain cognition, memory, focus, we can improve blood sugar levels, we can boost our immune system, and we can start to burn body fat, transform the body at the same time. Why would we not want that? But the biggest reason, probably bigger than anything at all, is that we improve our quality of life and it leads to a longer, stronger life. That's what I'm all about. I'm about living longer if my body is not decrepit. And I think most people feel that way. I have no interest in living a life where my body is really, it's not healthy. It's in a state that I know in my mind I could do more, but my body won't keep up anymore. That's not what I want for people. No matter what state you're at right now, you can get rid of that pain in the joints. You can get rid of that bloating, that indigestion, all those issues as well. You can become healthy, no doubt about it. So, how do we do that with fasting? Well, there are many different ways. I've explained it in the past. So simply type in fasting at stephencabral.com/podcast. But today what I want to do is I want to go over the 7 most common mistakes that I see people making when they do intermittent fasting. All right, I want to get right into that. So the first one is this. A lot of people think that in order to get a great fast in, it needs to be 15 to 16 hours. There's so much promotion right now from going at dinner the night before, not until lunch the next day, and closing that window off for just about 5 or 6 hours, or maybe at the very most 8 hours for the day. That's it. That's all you get to eat. That's the best way to fast. That is not necessarily true. That is actually not true for the majority of the population. It works for some. So what happens is when something works for some people, maybe it's 25% of the population, men between the ages of, we'll say 25 to 45, because it works for that population, all of a sudden now we extrapolate that data. We say, oh, well, it's good for everyone. Well, as you'll see at my very last point today, my very last mistake, you'll see why that's not good for everyone and actually is very harmful. So now what makes a good intermittent fast? Well, this is it. Somewhere between 10 to 12 hours per day. That's what the body needs. That's considered a long enough time to fast. So if you're new to fasting, you don't need to do more than 10 to 12 hours. You're going to get the benefit right there. The easiest thing to do, the healthiest thing that you can do in your life right now is to stop eating after dinner. No matter what, whatever it is, don't eat after dinner. And the reason is you give your body now time to finish the digestive process before you get into bed. That's going to lead to a better quality of sleep. It's going to lead into better detoxification. When your body has no more new stuff coming in, it can then get rid of the old. So much changes. I can't go into that today, but that's the first one. Now, the second most common mistake is this: not drinking enough fluid during the day and staying hydrated. Now, if you're not eating any food, what could you do? to give yourself a little bit more flavor rather than just drinking water? Well, you could simply squeeze some lemon or some lime. That's okay. No real sugar at all. And you can do a pinch of sea salt if you want. That's like a natural Gatorade. It's what I use all the time. I love lime. I squeeze lime right into water and you do a pinch of Himalayan sea salt or real salt. And real salt is just REAL. It comes from Utah, the salt beds in Utah. And it's fantastic. So either one is great. I'm an advocate of either one. I don't do Celtic sea salt as much anymore, and that's because it comes from the sea. And unfortunately, our sea is pretty polluted. So yes, I will still eat some fish, but I try to make the best relative choice possible. Now, why do we need to get enough fluid? Well, the reason is that if we're not getting it at all from fruit or from vegetables or any of these things, we can really start to get a headache. We can become over hungry, or we can get really tired when our body's not hydrated. A lot of times when we get any of those symptoms, headaches, fatigue, all these things, it's just our body needs water. It needs fluid. So you could do ginger tea, herbal tea, just like we do on our detoxes, or lemon, lime water, little pinch of sea salt. Fantastic. Do that. But make sure that you're getting enough hydration. If you drink too much water without your minerals, well, you might even start to get a little bit more fatigued, a little bit lightheaded. That's when you just squeeze in that lime or lemon and you do a pinch of sea salt to get your electrolytes back up. Okay. Drinking too much caffeine, that is the third most common intermittent fasting mistake. A lot of people are doing coffee for breakfast, black, or they might add some fat to it, which technically then you are not fasting. But if you do that, here's the thing. You might feel great because you are spiking your adrenaline levels, your norepinephrine, you are spiking your glucocorticoids, namely cortisol. But what's happening is you are putting yourself into more of a catabolic state, which is why ectomorphs, Vata body types, do not want to do long intermittent fasts. They're already running typically on higher adrenaline or norepinephrine and maybe higher cortisol. So here's the thing. If we do too much caffeine, we're going to become more catabolic and potentially break down more muscle tissue. That's something that none of us want. And that's because that muscle tissue is good for our metabolism and overall healthy, strong body. That is number 3. Now, number 4 is overeating at your last meal. Here's the thing. Great author, super smart guy, love him, love his work, all those things. But there was something called the warrior diet. Now, the warrior diet was basically only eat one meal per day, your last meal of the day, and have as much as you would like. So now, does that work for body transformation? Absolutely. Does it work for some men in terms of body transformation, maybe even boosting testosterone, IGF-1 levels? Sure, but here's the thing. And this is why we can't always apply this as an all for one. That is being shown now. So yes, you can get the body transformation, but keep in mind, body transformation is not the same as health. When I was in my early 20s, I weighed about 30 pounds more than I do right now. I had much larger biceps and chest, and I was, doing natural bodybuilding, all of those things. I was eating 270 plus grams of protein every day. Now, my body was in very good shape, but my internal health was terrible. I got pneumonia 3 out of 5 years. My immune system was shot. Science effect, not a good place to be. Body transformation, good. Inside body, not healthy. So here's the thing. They found this, that even if you do a long intermittent fast, which increases longevity, that's been shown now, increases longevity. But if you do a long intermittent fast, but you overeat at one meal to make up in calories, here's what happens. It has no effect then in survival and increases prostate cancer tumor growth. Now, this is an animal model, but I'll take that for now because I can look at that data and say, yeah, well, this is a possibility for humans. Why? Because it could be increasing insulin growth factor. We know that IGF-1 levels can increase and exacerbate tumor-based growth. This is in the prostate cancer and prostatic diseases. So the actual journal is Prostate Cancer, Prostatic Diseases. It came out in 2010. This was the August publication of that journal. Obviously, me doing just my research and perusing came across this, figured I would share it with you as well because it really is applicable. And don't just think this is just for guys, for women as well. What affects the prostate oftentimes can affect breast cancer as well. So do keep that in mind. Okay. Now, next on our list is number 5. The 5th most common intermittent fasting mistake is believing that even if you're going to do a longer fast, like let's say 15, 16-hour fast, going from dinner to lunch the next day, or just doing a 24-hour fast where you're going from dinner one night to dinner the next night, is believing that you have to do that more days per week to get more of the effects. More is not always better. So I want to put it to this way. If you're not using intermittent fasting right now, here's what I recommend. I've recommended in this past. Please do check this out. 12 hours. So going from 7 o'clock at night or right after dinner to 12 hours the next day. So what I do is this. I finish dinner about 7 p.m., sometimes 6:30. After I finish dinner, I go until 6:30, 7 a.m. that next morning, 12 hours without eating. That basically means I stopped eating after dinner. I woke up the next morning, let's say around 5:30, 6 o'clock at the very latest. And then I'm having I do greens, but I'm doing my greens and I'm doing lime and I'm doing maybe a pinch of sea salt, whatever it might be. So no calories, no sugar, nothing. I'm keeping my fast going. And then about an hour later, that's when I start my smoothie. That's when I do my oats, that stuff like that. So that is your 12 hours. That's where you start. Now, you want to do a longer one? Great. I do a longer one as well, once or twice a month of a Sunday night all the way till Monday night at dinner, 24-hour fast. So here's the thing. First, start at your 12-hour and then go maybe once a month with doing your one-day 24-hour fast, and then maybe take that to once a week, and then at the most, maybe take that to twice a week. But remember, start with less and then move up. Why? Because sometimes when you start with more, you actually start to get negative results. Your body's simply not ready to just stop eating for a large period of time. It can't regulate blood sugar as well. It can't regulate hormones as well, namely cortisol. So check into that. Look into that. Again, make things easier on yourself. I say it all the time with body transformation clients. If you're doing 0 workouts right now, why are you going to jump to 5? I don't understand that. Don't make things hard on yourself. You're going to get just as much benefit from doing 3. Work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every other day. And then when you start to plateau, then add another day. And then if you start to plateau again, then add another day. So again, make things easier on yourself. You're going to get great benefits just starting out with less in the beginning because you haven't done that at all. So start with that first. All right, number 6 is save your more intense workouts for non-fasting days. Now, can you do them on a day that's fasted? Sure, but not your very first fast. You know, a beginner comes into intermittent fasting like, oh, I'm just going to do my workouts. I don't want you to get lightheaded. I don't want you to get dizzy. I don't want you to leave a bad impression on fasting because you decided to go all out hardcore and then you're really breaking your body down to a greater level. Allow your biology to catch up with this new lifestyle. All right. Allow your body to adapt to these changes that it's going through. So what do I recommend? Well, if you're doing that longer fast, so if I'm going from that Sunday night to a Monday night, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do a hard workout that Monday. Might I do something light? Sure, no problem. Now, after I've been doing this for a while, can I do a workout on a Monday afternoon at like 2 p.m. knowing I'm going to eat, 4 hours later? Sure, but that's already because I've been doing this for a while, right? It's different. If someone's doing the Dr. Ball detox, their first 2 days are shake fast days. 4 shakes, just enough protein and amino acids to keep the muscle on their body, enough nutrients for phase 1, phase 2 detox. They're in a fasted state. Now, should they do workouts their first 2 days? Not the first time ever before doing a Dr. Ball detox. Not that first time. Why? You don't need the benefit. Like exercise on those first 2 days doesn't get you more benefit. The whole point of exercising is benefit, is transforming your body, is the anti-aging based benefits. You don't need that when you're doing your first Dr. Ball detox. Now, the second one, you're already prepared. You know what it's going to be like. Your body has already done now 2 days of a shake fast. Now, going into it the next time, could you try some cardio? Could you try some light body weight exercises? Sure. If that works out great, now your third time trying it, you could go all out if you want to. But again, you have to learn your body. You need to see where you're at, and then you can get into it. My recommendation is this. I tell people all the time, don't even worry about it. Take your first 2 days of the Dr. Ball detox or another type of detox or an intermittent fast. Just enjoy the process. Get a light massage. Do an infrared sauna. Get a little bit more rest. Just go for a walk. No need to push yourself on those days. Save it for the days where you're not doing your longer, harder fasts. All right. Now, number 7, the big one right here. I told you that this was going to be the one that you wanted to stay tuned for, and that's this. Right now, we are using low carb, long intermittent fasting and applying it to everyone. I can tell you right now, it's extremely dangerous, but most dangerous for women. Now, why is this so dangerous for women? Here's the thing. Intermittent fasting, fairly new in terms of studying. I'm not saying it's brand new, but in terms of the money being allocated for actual research now. Now, again, when I was talking to people and trying to explain the Dr. Ball detox or just detoxes in general, and insert your favorite detox. Here's the thing. The Nobel Prize last year was in the study of autophagy, destroying cancer cells by using intermittent fasting and ramping up basically detoxification. Great. So we have all this money now showing that fasting, all these things, they work. But sometimes, especially in our Western-based mentality, I can absolutely be guilty of this as well. We try to take that data and we use it too broadly for too many people. Women are not getting the best results from keto-based diets. Men are. Men between the ages of, let's say, like I said, 25 to 45 or even 55. Why? Women's bodies and those hormone-based signals that are different in women's bodies in terms of estrogen and progesterone are simply different than men. Now, here's what happens. When they go into a lower caloric state or even a lower carbohydrate state for too long, and it was shown after about 2 weeks, this is the study right here. After 2 weeks, this is what we started to find in women specifically, that their menstrual cycles began to be affected, and also their ovaries actually began to shrink. This is very important, especially for women during reproductive years. You don't want to hear these things. And again, I've been talking about this for a long time. It's not talked about right now. Very rarely will you hear this anywhere else because people are too invested in their keto-based endogenous ketones and all of these things. And again, time and place, no problem at all. Let's just not say it's great for everyone in the world, right? Here's the other thing, though. It can exacerbate low thyroid-based symptoms. Women's thyroids can actually slow. One of the reasons that I've talked about this before, cortisol stress levels can go up. When that happens, thyroid starts to go lower. Again, mainly in women. I know it's unfair, but it affects more women than it does men. Some men, this still affects them. It absolutely does. And also, very, very important as well, hunger hormone levels start to increase. There is that imbalance again between leptin and ghrelin. Women, even when they come out of the fasted state, they're not satiated in terms of eating enough food. They almost binge eat, which can lead to then binge eating or anorexia-based disorders. This is not something that I want to see for women at all. So when I could say there's massive benefits to both men and women for intermittent fasting, I just want women to be a little bit more careful. I still want them to do that 12-hour overnight fast from 7 to 7, 6 to 6, 5 to 5, 8 to 8, however you want to do it. I want you to be more careful that on your fasting days, if you do a longer fast, such as a 24-hour, that you're only doing it once a week. Okay, once a week for now. Make sure your body functions fine like that for a month or so. That if you are doing a fast day, a longer fast day, that you're not necessarily working out that day. So we don't, again, change those leptin ghrelin levels so that we don't, again, lower thyroid, any of those things. That you're getting plenty of hydration and that you're simply tracking your results. Really, really important. I do believe this, that our bodies will become better adapted. So if you simply follow my protocols to ease into it, and that's why even the Dr. Ball detox, this is what I talked about all the time. So if you do the 21-day detox, the first 2 days of every 7-day protocol is the 4 shakes per day, right? But if you decide to go on to that next week, so you do days 1 through 7, 2 shake fast days, and then you do your regular eating on days 3 through 7, and you can simply see, we give you the whole plan away for free at drballdetox.com. But if you go to the next week, you can decide to do only 1 shake fast day, or you can do the 2 shake fast days. You can still do that. Week 2, you get better results in terms of body transformation and autophagy. But you can just continue to do days 3 through 14 simply as the nutrition plan. Shake for breakfast, lunch, shake for mid-afternoon, and then the dinner that we recommend as well. And you continue that all the way days 3 through 21 if you want, or each week you can start it with 1 or 2 shake fast days. So we allow people to also ease into their level of detox and intermittent fasting as they see appropriate for themselves. So again, it's this thing called bioindividuality. What works for me is going to work for you, but maybe not to the same degree. Again, we're all humans, so it all works. It's very, very important. What works for me is always going to work for you, but at a different level. Meaning like intermittent fasting works for all of us, right? Vitamin C works for all of us. However, our levels and needs are different. So I've worked my way up to a greater degree of intermittent fasting. I can now do a 7-day detox and do 2 days of just shakes, no problem at all. Like literally no problem. But when I first did it, headaches, lightheaded, I needed more rest. I didn't feel as well. Why? My body was imbalanced. That's the truth. I was not as healthy as I honestly thought I was. And this is just going back 6 years ago. I was healthy. I really thought I was. But then I took it to that next level. My body then began to get even cleaner. That's what happens when you do an intermittent fast. There's no magic. Literally, your body goes in and it cleans house. If you're not living at home, it's like you move out of your house for a weekend, you come in and you have cleaners come in. There's no one there to mess it up. And they just sweep all the dust out. They wash everything down. They clean it. That's what intermittent fasting is. That's why it allows us to have more energy. It allows us to live longer. It decreases inflammation. It improves the immune system. All of these things are meant to help you live a better quality of life and a longer life at the whole time, which is what I want for each and every one of you. I want you to want that. Meaning like, if you don't want to live a long, healthy life right now, it's because something's lacking. That health is lacking. That energy is lacking. You're lacking the goals, the desire, the purpose, the passion. That starts with changing your body. I'm telling you, that's why the tagline of the Cabral concept is change your body, change your life. You have to start with your body. Your mind will follow. And when your mind follows, your life follows. But if you don't have a good vessel to carry you through life, I'm telling you, it's tough. I've been there. If your body is not functioning optimally, it's hard to get your mind right. When you have no energy in your body, when you're bloated all the time, when your hormones are off, if any of those things are going on, it's hard to be positive. It's hard to be in a good mood. And when that's there, well, who has the ambition? Who has the goals? Who has the drive to do more? Who wants to get into different relationships? Like, it's just more challenging. So I understand where you're coming from. And that's why I can't recommend enough starting your own intermittent fasting. Again, just start with the overnight. Stop eating after dinner. Brush your teeth. That's one of my favorite tips. You won't want to eat after that because you have to brush your teeth again. Nobody wants to do that. And then you go 12 hours to the next morning. And then that's when you can break your fast, hopefully with just something like the daily nutritional support shake. So you get a nice smoothie, very, very healthy into your body. Give your body all the nutrition that it needs to start the day. That's how we start to boost those energy levels. Just that one step, you'll be well on your way. After you do that, then you can get right into the Dr. Ball detox, or again, insert your favorite detox, whatever you feel is most appropriate for you. But start with the 12-hour fast and work your way up from there. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Cabral concept. I appreciate each and every one of your listens. Do feel free to pass this show along to anyone you feel it would benefit. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.